In today's video, we're looking at a moment that has sparked a lot of discussion inside the Labour Party. It involves Shabbana Mahmood, who was publicly challenged by another Labour MP over the party's new approach to illegal immigration. The MP argued that if someone like Tommy Robinson is praising the policy, then that alone must mean something is wrong. It was a surprising exchange, and not because of the policy itself, but because of how the argument was framed. We'll dive into this story in today's video, but before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Right now, only 12% of viewers are subscribed, so join the community and help us grow. We're not taking sides here, and we don't agree with the idea of judging a policy simply based on who comments on it. In fact, many people see that kind of argument as unhelpful or overly emotional. What matters is whether the policy actually addresses the situation, and the illegal immigration crisis in the UK is undeniably serious. People across the country have been watching the numbers rise and waiting for a clear, effective plan from the government, regardless of which party is in charge. What this clip really shows is the level of division inside Labour right now. Instead of presenting a unified position, members are openly disagreeing with each other, questioning motives, and debating the direction the party should take. And when a party is deeply split on an issue this important, it often leads to delays, confusion, and mixed messages. The public ends up feeling like nothing is getting done because leaders can't settle on a single approach. That's why this moment is worth paying attention to. It highlights how complex the immigration debate has become, not just across the country, but within political parties themselves. It also shows how quickly discussions can get sidetracked when the focus shifts toward personalities instead of policies. So let's take a look at the clip, watch how the exchange unfolds, and decide for yourself what it says about the current state of the Labour Party and how they're handling the issue of illegal immigration. Have a watch.
True state.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will later today be showing the full details of my plans for far-reaching reforms to the UK asylum system to restore order and control to our borders. We have learned the lessons from our international partners, including Denmark, where fundamental reform to their system has seen asylum claims at a 40-year low. The impact of this government's plans will be to restore order and control to the border so we can be the open, tolerant and generous country that we know ourselves to be.
Nadia Whitson.
The Denmark-style policies briefed in the last couple of days are dystopian. It's shameful that a Labour government is ripping up the rights and protections of people who have endured unimaginable trauma. Is this how we'd want to be treated if we were fleeing for our lives? Of course not. So how can we be adopting such obviously cruel policies? Is the Home Secretary proud that the government has sunk to such depths that it's now being praised by Tommy Robinson?
Well, Mr. Speaker, look, I'm disappointed at the nature of the question from my honourable friend. I hope she will look at the detail of the reforms. And what I've said already on these matters is that we have a proper problem that it is our moral duty to fix. Our asylum system is broken. The breaking of that asylum system is causing huge division across our whole country. It is a moral mission for me to resolve that division across our country. I know that the reforms I will be setting out later on today can fix this system, and in doing so can unite what is today a divided country.
In the end, this exchange makes one thing very clear. The Labour Party is deeply divided on how to handle illegal immigration. Instead of offering a united strategy, members are publicly clashing and getting sidetracked by who comments on a policy rather than the policy itself. With the UK facing a serious immigration challenge, people want solutions, not internal political drama. Moments like this fuel the criticism often heard from frustrated voters who say that Labour couldn't run a bath, let alone a country. In other news, a trio of decrepit Royal Navy support ships is stuck in port, causing a headache for senior armed forces officials. The Royal Fleet Auxiliary, RFA, refuels, rearms and resupplies British warships. However, all three RFA vessels that act as Navy amphibious warfare ships are out of action, with some experts claiming their current condition is crippling the Navy RFA Lyme Bay, RFA Mounts Bay, and RFA Cardigan Bay, all out of action, alongside RFA Argus, a hospital ship which has been trapped at Portsmouth Naval Base since failing a safety inspection in June. Retired frigate captain Commander Tom Sharp warned the current state of the RFA was now posing a serious threat to naval operations. He told The Telegraph, "This is absolutely crippling the Navy. The RFA is the logistics branch of the Royal Navy. If you don't have logistics, you're simply not a blue water Navy. You can't support it at range, so what's the point being a Navy?" Admiral Lord West, the former head of the Navy, added, "RFA Argus is in a decrepit state. It's appalling she has been allowed to get into a state that's not seaworthy. RFA Argus was first used during the Falklands War in 1982. However, sources said the ship was now in such a poor state of repair that the vessel's shaft needed emergency welding to prevent the stern seal from blowing out, flooding the ship. The June safety inspection found asbestos on board and ruled that the hull was not seaworthy. Meanwhile, RFA Lyme Bay, which was last used in exercise with the Royal Marines this autumn, will be stuck in port in Gibraltar until at least April because of budgetary restrictions, according to Navy sources. RFA Cardigan Bay has been hit by delays to a refit program, while RFA Mounts Bay has been impacted by constant manpower shortages. The RFA vessels were supposed to fill in for the Navy's amphibious warfare capability after HMS Bulwark and HMS Albion were axed by Defense Secretary John Healey. However, Lord West said, "Our amphibious capability has been reduced to a level that's a shadow of its former self." Maritime defense expert and former naval officer Mike Critchley called on the government to address the crisis urgently. He told The Telegraph, "The Navy has gotten a real mess over its RFA support. The UK's only solid support ship, Fort Victoria, has also been placed in extended readiness and is unlikely to return to sea without costly repairs." A Norwegian vessel, HNOMS Maud, recently had to step in to help with the UK carrier strike group's deployment to the Indo-Pacific. Later, America's USNS Wally Schirra had to resupply the group because RFA Fort Victoria was out of action. It has raised concerns Britain has been left with a capability gap as it waits for replacement vessels to arrive in the early 2030s. CDR Sharp said, "The idea of having carriers without fleet solid support ships is just appalling. We want to be global and have global ambitions, and rightly so. But if we can't get the RFA to work, we might as well bin the carriers, and just build frigates and destroyers. Someone has to take bold action on this to fix the RFA." A Navy spokesman said, "The Royal Fleet Auxiliary continues to operate globally in accordance with defense requirements and priorities." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.